welcome back to Frenchies Bakery. Today we are going to be making a Toy Story 4 cake, and we are going to be doing the Pizza Planet Aliens.
You have saved our lives. We are eternally grateful.
It's going to be adorable. I cannot wait to see the finished results. So I want to jump in and explain the first confusing weird part. So how we are going to build his body is we are going to do a 6-inch round piece of cake, and each one of these are going to be single layers. So we're going to do a 6-inch and then a 7-inch, then an 8-inch, then a 7-inch, and a 6-inch. Because he goes from like skinny to chubby to skinny again. So that's kind of how we're going to build his body. And you'll obviously see that whenever I'm putting it together and icing it. I also am making his head out of Rice Krispie treats because my football pan is way too big and he would be ginormous and I don't need that big of a cake. So I'm just going to make it out of Rice Krispie treats. And it's super simple. You're just gonna make it into a little football shape. So the good news about him is he's really straightforward. He has really straightforward shapes. So his head's like a football, his little feet are like little footballs kind of, his little stubby arms. He only has 3 fingers. He's super easy to create, so we're just gonna take our time, do this together, figure it out, and he's gonna turn out to be really, really cute. I'm just going to ice the cake with some blue buttercream icing, but the head I am going to be covering it with fondant because it is going to be a Rice Krispie treat and it would not be as smooth if it was just covered in buttercream. So if you're using this for a party, you can peel the buttercream off and just eat the Rice Krispie treat. But typically kids eat the Rice Krispie treat and they do like fondant, so you can just leave it on. It's whatever you really want to do. So we are going to move on to icing the cake. I forget if I mentioned this in the beginning, but I actually dyed my cake layers green, so whenever you cut into it, it looks like the alien. And I'm also going to be doing this crumb coat and final coat in light blue icing. So I just did a drop of royal blue and it made the perfect blue color for his little space suit. So for his little feet that are gonna go in front of his body, I just trimmed them out with a little piece of cake that I had. And we're going to ice them in dark blue. And then we're going to place it on his little body. So I wanna ice it separately so the dark blue doesn't touch the light blue. We'll ice these, pop them in the freezer, and then put them right against the actual body. All right, so here is the head of our alien. I made it out of Rice Krispie treats and then I covered it in fondant. So I used some white fondant, I did a little bit of green and yellow to make this neon green color. And then right whenever I put the fondant on, I sculpted the mouth because the fondant was still really sticky and everything and you could sculpt it. So this is the time to make the mouth, and I just actually made it with my fingers and pushed everything out of the way to make this little smile here. Then I made the ears. They actually look like Yoda ears. So I just cut those out and left them a little detached at the bottom and then really detached at the top, and then they come out a little bit, they flare out just a little bit. And then I put his little antenna on the top. I made this out of Rice Krispie treats too. I used about, I think, a half of one, and then I made it into this really long piece, and then I added a little ball at the top, and the way I secured that was with a toothpick. So the next thing I'm going to do is add on the eyes. So we're just gonna do big round white balls of fondant and then one little black pupil, and there are 3 eyes. So we're gonna off center the 2 and then put the middle one a little bit higher And that will be it for his face. And then we will start to move on to adding things on his body. Alrighty, so now we're going to be sticking the head on top of his little body. So I have the sculpted head here, and then I have a skewer going inside the cake. So this is going to hold the head on top of the cake. And we're just gonna gently place it on top of the cake. And the next thing we're going to do is add on his purple collar. So I'm going to make this out of fondant, and we're just going to roll it out like a big long snake and then just wrap it around his neck. So the next thing we're going to be doing is adding on his little belt. So I rolled out a little bit darker of blue fondant because his belt is darker than his suit. And we're just going to place this around the middle part of the cake. And we're just gonna wrap it the whole way around. And right on the front of that, we're gonna add a little rectangular piece. And then that's gonna pull his little belt all together. And now we're going to add on the arms. I made these out of Rice Krispie treats as well, and I just formed 2 blocks into one, and I made it into a little arm, and then his little hands. He only has 3 fingers, so I made this out of a half Rice Krispie treat, wrapped his hands in the neon green fondant, and then wrapped his arms in the light blue to match his little suit that he has going on here. I have 2 skewers here, and I am going to stick one right up top. I'm going to secure the arm in to the cake, and I'm going to put one up top and one down towards the middle, and that will help keep this little arm stable. And then we're just going to put the skewers through the Rice Krispie treat. And now those little feetsies that we were working on earlier, we're going to put those on the cake. I'm gonna place them right in the front. And now we are going to add on the pizza logo right on his chest. So we are going to start off with orange icing, and I just put my icing in a little Ziploc baggie, and we are going to make a circle right here, and it's gonna be on the left side of his chest. So we're just gonna do a big circle here. And then we're gonna do a bunch of orange and yellow dots on the inside of that orange circle. So this is gonna be like the little pizza that he's got going on. And then just a little yellow line going across this, so it's gonna be like a planet. Alrighty guys, so here is our Pizza Planet alien. He is adorable. I am obsessed with him. This is, I think, now maybe you guys can prove me wrong if you know if I've said this before, but I think that this is the first cake that I do not want to cut into. I think he is so cute. Oh my gosh, I've always loved the little aliens on Toy Story. I think that they're adorable. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope that you think that he is adorable. Make sure to like and subscribe, and please share pictures with me if you make this little guy. I don't care if it's a complete disaster. I don't care if it's better than mine, which I'm sure a lot will be, because you know, there's a little bit of rough edges around him, but that's fine. That is totally fine. I still think he's really adorable in his own way. He might be sitting in my freezer for a little bit. I don't think I can part with it just yet. But yeah, so I will see you all in the next one. Have a good rest of your day, everyone. Bye.
Sector 12. Who's in charge here?
That's why.